Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you are watching the video from. The county, in case you are within the republic, or the country, in case you are outside Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, in one of my videos a few days ago, I opined that William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, was actually developing an elaborate strategy to finish Raila Odinga once and for all. And the question which I posed then was whether William Ruto was going to succeed where Mwai Kibaki failed, where Uhuru Kenyatta failed, and where the professor of politics, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, himself failed. And I remember also explaining to you guys the strategies which he was planning to use. One of them was to work very closely with Raila Odinga's governors. And I gave names of some governors, the governor for Kakamega, the governor for Turkana. And I also told you guys to monitor very closely the movements in Mombasa. And indeed, Abdul Swamad Nasser of Mombasa is going to work very closely with William Samoei Arap Ruto. I'm going to put the link to that video for those who missed it. And a trend is also emerging where members of ODM Party, MPs, senators, governors, and former governors are actually now defecting from ODM Party to either Kenya Kwanza or to chart their own political path. And I want to pose the question again, because we've witnessed of late high-profile defections from ODM Party to other parties. What next for Raila Amolo Odinga after these high-profile defections? What next for Raila Amolo Odinga? Before we get into all those details, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back to the main issue. If you've been following the politics of this country of late, high-profile individuals are actually defecting from Raila Odinga's camp to join William Samoei Ruto. And the truth of the matter is that it's not going to be the first time or the last time those high-profile defectors will be leaving Raila Odinga or later on joining him. Let me just give you a few cases. And I was asking a friend of mine today that why is it that Raila Odinga is always being betrayed? Why is it that Raila Odinga is always being betrayed? Probably if you have an answer to that question, let me also read the comments. Let me give you a few individuals who have defected from Raila Odinga's camp or ODM to other political parties. You can name some of them, but let me focus on the recent ones. Amason Jaffa Kingi defected from ODM, formed his political party at a time when Raila Odinga believed that Kingi was going to play a key role in his campaigns. Kingi became the governor of Kilifi because of Raila Odinga. If you look at the history of Kingi, for example, Raila Odinga actually campaigned and funded his campaign to become the governor, the member of parliament for Magharibi. And eventually, Raila Odinga even made him a cabinet minister, one of the youngest cabinet ministers during Nusu Mukata. Let us look at the other guy. The second example is Janet Ongera. Janet Ongera was the executive director of ODM Party for a very long time. In fact, at some point, Janet Ongera became so powerful that whatever she wanted would be granted in ODM Party. In Kisii, he would determine who got the ODM ticket. When she was defeated, she dumped Raila Odinga. Let me shock you also. Josephat Nanok. who would have been Josephat Nanok without Raila Amolo Odinga. When Raila Odinga expected Nanok to play a key role for him, he defected. But this video is actually motivated by the defection of two key individuals, Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya and Kanini Kega. And that's why I'm asking you, what next? Let me explain to you about Kanini Kega first. You know, political parties were supposed to nominate members to the East African Legislative Assembly. That nomination is normally guided by law. Political parties or coalitions are allocated numbers based on their strength. ODM qualified for 4 slots. UDA 5. ODM in its wisdom decided to allocate 1 to Wiper and another 1 to Jubilee. So the one which Kanini Kega got was donated to Jubilee. Then the other day you saw Kanini Kega claiming how ODM, or for that matter Azimio, did not support him. Then Oparanya. Who would have been Oparanya? Oparanya, Raila Odinga made even a cabinet minister. He was the deputy party leader of ODM Party. The other day he announced that he was defecting to focus on loyal unity. And that's why I'm asking you this question. What next for Raila Odinga after these defections? Because these are not the first defections. Ruto, Wetangula, Mudavadi, all these individuals were previously with Raila Odinga, but they defected. For me, I think Raila Odinga has very few options. What he can do next. Number one is that Raila Odinga must now decide to take ODM party to the people. ODM originally was meant to become a mass movement. Mass movements are normally owned by the people. Sadly, that never happened. ODM became captive to members of parliament, to governors, to senators, and to cartels. And this is why we are witnessing a lot of defection. Because people who genuinely supported Raila Odinga got tired. Because elections will happen, nominations will be called, people who are nowhere around the party would come, win seats, and they go. Someone was telling me that one of the places where ODM was so strong was actually in Kwale. Up to now, it has a very strong grassroots networks. But then there were cartels there. And he gave me example of the Msambweni by-election, where the grassroots told ODM party that this is the candidate. But the cartel insisted on a candidate. So the candidate the people wanted ended up running as independent. Today is a member of parliament on UDA. So the truth of the matter is that the only way Raila Odinga can salvage the situation is by making sure that ODM is taken back to the people. This idea of leaving ODM in the hands of governors, like in Kakamega, you saw ODM Raila Odinga left ODM in the hands of governors. So governors became mini gods. They felt that those regions belonged to them. 2017, Oparanya wanted to control the entire Kakamega. He decided who got the ODM party ticket. All of them, almost most of them, lost. At least this time around, ODM recovered a bit. Kilifi was left in the hands of Amason Kingi. You go to Mombasa, was left in the hands of Joho. It is high time Raila Odinga decides to take ODM party to the people. How can he take ODM party to the people? Rule number one, ensure that if you are elected leader, you should never hold any ODM party office. Then also put a law that only ODM party members can be subjected to nominations so that you don't have to struggle. There are people who are struggling with ODM right now and Raila Odinga. Then towards the campaign, people will come with money and they'll be defeated. You defeat loyalists and you give people who really don't share the vision. So Raila Odinga must decide to take the party back to the people. Number two, he can play sympathy card. I know you are going to ask me, how can Raila Odinga play sympathy card? Politics is a game. And politics has only two constants, either the interest or betrayal. Raila Odinga can project himself as a person or as a victim of political betrayal. He can tell the story of these people. He understands them. He knows them. When he goes to Kakamega, he can narrate. Raila Odinga can identify a funeral somewhere in Kakamega, attend, and narrate to the people how he has stood with Oparanya and why Oparanya is now leaving him. The next time he can go to Kilifi. I saw him do that during the burial of Fikirini, Jacob's father. He can go there, explain to people how he's being betrayed. And sympathy will come. He will win sympathy. And that will motivate people. So for me, that's the next thing. The third thing he needs to do is to inject fresh bloods. You know, I don't know when was the last time ODM Party conducted its party nominations. But it's totally unfair to have the same individual serving as ODM branch chairperson for 20 years. Unacceptable. You don't even allow newcomers to play a role within the party. For example, I know ODM Youth League. There are people there who contested long time ago. You know, I was actively involved in the campaigns 2011. These people are still in office. Youth League is supposed to end at 35. Some of these guys are now more than 40. They've refused to leave. ODM Party has refused to send them away. Then how do you attract more people? Inject fresh blood. Allow them to take charge of the party. Give new members of parliament, people like Babu Owino, give them the prominence so that new people can be persuaded to join. But if you want to stick with the people who have always been there for 20, 30 years, I mean, who can they attract? Zero. Number 4 is that Raila Odinga must now start checkmating problematic individuals. Someone like Oparanya, if Oparanya is leaving, why can't he just get someone to serve as deputy party leader from Western Kenya and empower that person? Maybe that person could be Caleb Amisi. Maybe it could be Otichilo. Maybe it could be Polo Tuoma. Then life will move on. That's what he needs to do. Checkmate. It worked perfectly well for him in Turkana when Anok decided to leave ODM Party. Raila Odinga went and looked for Jeremiah, the guy who won the governor. He was the member of parliament for Turkana Central from nowhere. Raila Odinga made him the deputy chairperson of ODM Party. He then ended up winning the elections. So checkmating is something Raila Odinga can actually do. And lastly, disappear. Robert Greene advises that you must create scarcity. This idea of Raila Odinga addressing the press every now and again, for me, are stale. He needs to now leave that to some other people. Let Kalonzo read the statement. Let Martha Karua read the statement. Raila Odinga should just disappear. Create scarcity. Become absent. Then that absence will attract honor, will attract respect, so that when he will come back fresh, those who are targeting him cannot targeting him because he's not speaking, he's not responding. For me, those are the things Raila Odinga needs to do. I don't know what you think. Those are my takes. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye. By the way, I'm doing this video at night after the Brazilian match. Yeah, so it's not morning here, but it will be morning tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.